Good afternoon. Welcome to the White House. And for those of you viewing online, welcome as well. My name's Aaron Hannigan, and I work in the Office of Public Engagement here at the White House. I wanted to be the first to welcome all of you and especially thank all of our champions of change who we're here to honor today, who are leaders in American diaspora communities. And if we can start with a round of applause, that would be great. We're looking forward to a great event with our champions here today. I would encourage everyone in the audience and watching online to learn more about the tremendous work of our champions by going to www.whitehouse.gov/champions. Again, that's www.whitehouse.gov/champions.
Christine Martey-Ochola is a native of Kenya, and she joins us from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The doctor is the co-founder of the Sub-Saharan African Chamber of Commerce, an organization that facilitates trade and investment between the U.S. and Africa. Under her direction, the Chamber runs various trade missions into Africa and reverse trade missions into the United States, assisted U.S. company entry into Kenya with increased employment, established reconnaissance missions, and also facilitated U.S. business entry into the African market. Welcome.
Dr. Ochola, please tell us about the Sub-Saharan Africa Chamber of Commerce, and what role do you believe the diaspora can play in promoting trade and investment between both the U.S. and Africa?
Thank you. Thank you for the question, and like everybody else, I want to thank this administration for recognizing the role that diaspora plays in the growth of America as a whole, and also the growth of Africa and the global community. Before I get into Sub-Saharan Africa, I want to thank all the champions who are here today, the champions sitting in the audience, and the champions who've championed me sitting here. So I feel like I'm the face of many people, maybe the mouthiest of the group, but
that's a good thing.
But all the champions that are behind us. Background-wise, I'm actually a chemist. I was trained as a chemist. I know, many people ask, what's a chemist talking about, talking about trade and chambers? And I like to think that I'm doing the chemistry of trade and the chemistry of investment, because sometimes we need to have a little bit of, of a cross in our majors when we go to school, and we don't always do that. And so really what the chamber does is the chemistry of trade and investment between the US and Africa. For all of you who maybe slept through that chem class, you know that to do a reaction, you've got to have at least two reactants. You've got to have two things coming together to try and make a product, isn't it? And so we ask the question, if a company is going to do trade in Africa, or someone's going to invest there, with whom are they going to invest? Are they going alone? There's got to be the other side of the reaction, right? And so what we realized a few years ago is that as Africans, we were not always coming to that reaction with enough quantity in order to be able to get the product that we wanted, right? And so we asked the question, what was missing? And we started off with diasporans. As a diasporan from Kenya, I sat and asked, well, and it wasn't me really, I'm a co-founder of this organization, and we were sitting down once and asked the question, if we wanted to build an apartment complex in Kenya, in order to be able to, in a sense, give back but generate revenue, what would we do? And so we started looking, and we realized that there were many gaps in the process of investing in Africa. Definitely there are many institutions that are supposed to be playing this role, but they were not always speaking together. There wasn't cohesion. And so we realized that within that gap, it meant that, one, diasporans may not invest as efficiently and effectively as they might like. And if the diasporans cannot do it, yet they have feet on the ground on the other side, then how are the other mainstream American companies doing it? Are they doing it? And so we asked the question, is America in Africa? And so we went there and we saw a few American companies in Africa, but not as many as we may have liked to see, all right? And so we asked, why are they missing? Why is America missing? China's there, Europe's there, India's there. Why isn't America there? And it was because there's a gap. And so really what our chamber does, and that's the Sub-Saharan Africa Chamber of Commerce, What we do is we come in the middle of that, and we reach out to companies that are here, and we ask them, what are you doing? What are you selling? What product do you have? What service do you have? Does Africa need it in the first place? Are people on the continent there willing to pay for that, given product or service? And I get a wave from my wonderful son, who once asked me if I could just call Barack Obama and say, I need to have a meeting with you, because he always sees me having meetings. Hi, Christian. And so, what we do is we look for needs, and we see if we have American companies that can meet those needs. Examples. Namibia has seen a lot of growth, for example, in their road infrastructure, but they have a little bit of a gap in their emergency response system. So we're working with the country to see if maybe there's a possibility for American companies to work in that particular area. Ethiopia has a similar situation. In fact, we found out the other day that not so much just in Ethiopia, but in many African countries, the deaths from road deaths might actually surpass HIV/AIDS deaths. Go figure, right? We'd never have figured that out if we're not with the chamber. We are working with other countries that are looking to see if they can get more organic cotton into the country. Public health, there are all sorts of public health initiatives, and we have products and services here that can meet those needs, but we don't always present them in a way that might be attractive to the other side. But more importantly, we found that there are many American companies that ask the question, is there a market analysis? Who's on the ground on the other side? Who'll be my best partner? How do I figure that person out, right? And so that's where we are. We're at that interface where we work with these companies. We go with them into whichever country they need to go into. We work with them in finding the best partners. We work with them in sitting down and negotiating some of these deals, because many times there's a lot of things left on the table, okay, both on the American side and on the African side. And we work a lot with interns, okay? Thank you to all the interns who work with us. They always bring wonderful ideas, but 9 times out of 10, when we interview our interns, we ask them, what do you want to get from this experience? And they tell us, we want to know how to negotiate. We want to be able to sit there when that deal is being done. And what that tells us is that many Africans are asking the question, how are deals done? Is Africa where it is because maybe we were not negotiating very, very well? So we work in that particular process. We work with colleges. We run dean's missions so that we can, in a sense, educate our educators so that they can then be able to be proponents for what is going on in Africa. There's a lot of entrepreneurship, innovation, that's been said throughout this session. But how do we capitalize on that? Other than business, we actually pay attention a lot to governance issues. Currently at the Chamber, we are working a program that's called the 3 Constitution Program, where we're doing a comparative analysis between Kenya, South Africa, and the US. So the US is celebrating its 225th anniversary this year. South Africa, which modeled its constitution to the US one, is I think on its 16th anniversary. And then Kenya modeled its constitution to this particular one, and it's on its 2nd one, and Kenya is going to have its first election after the promulgation of its new constitution. So as a chamber, we're actually running a comparative constitutional analysis so that as Kenya looks to implement, it can look at what are some of the best practices. And as South Africa continues to grow, it can say, where have we been? Where might we have stumbled? And Kenya, maybe these are some of the things you might want to look out for. And then the US can also share some of its best practices with us. So that's just a little bit of what we're doing, including renewable energy, which is big for the US and is big in Africa. And maybe that's a little bit of a summary of what we do.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
My name is Mike Strautmanis, and this is just great. I have had the privilege of working here at the White House for Valerie Jarrett and on behalf of the President and First Lady since we got here. I actually ran the office of, we called it then, Public Liaison and Intergovernmental Affairs in the transition. And I remember having conversations with Valerie Jarrett about what we wanted to create here. And really what we wanted to do is provide a place for all of the decision makers in the White House to become informed by the best among us. And to take that information and that inspiration and put it into the middle of the decision-making process. And I think that our Champions of Change program has really been the embodiment of that spirit, the embodiment of the president's philosophy about what governing is and what government should be. It should be a place where we make our decisions with those Americans that want to participate in our democracy. It should be a place where we lift up those stories of success. You know, this is a time of, unfortunately, way too much cynicism. Way too many people feel like we aren't making progress. Way too many people feel like we're not getting things done. But when you sit here and you look at these people who are making a difference in their communities and their families, making this country better, and by the way, having an enormous impact around the world, then that sends a different message. It sends a message of hope. It sends a message that we can make changes. It sends a message that this White House, this government, is not only just open to your ideas, but is a part of you. We're here because of you. And so I hope, if nothing else, you take away from this experience an understanding that your president and everybody that works on his behalf every single day, we see you, we honor you, we respect you, and we need you. The achievements, the innovations, the leaderships that you bring to the communities across this country, to the development of and diplomacy with your countries of origin, it's why we get up every single day. So I really want to thank you for your incredible achievements. And I want to thank you for taking the time to be with us today.